5 years old, but it's a boss. It does a great job. It's a boss.
The industry still uses 10, or are they like?
Industry does everything,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
the industry standard is Pro Tools. What version of Pro Tools you use doesn't really matter. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at drums. How about that? Here's the drums from that song we were playing.
Do you have like a comparison of before it was drum replaced? To when it was-
Absolutely, that's what I'm pulling up. So this is our snare replacement right here. You want to hear the before and after of our snare. Here is before the snare replacement.
Wow.
And after replacement.
That's nuts, dude. That is nutty.
Now you blend that with the bottom snare, which is here. Put it with the replacement. Having the bottom snare blended in with the top one, you have all the punch of the top one and all the personality of the bottom one. So you keep the ghost notes in there, you keep the personality, the expression, the sizzle, and you have the punch of that top one. So it's a perfect blend.
So that's the original bottom. Is that
It's the original bottom, yep. The kick, here's the before and after of the kick. Hear all that bleed? That's one microphone picking up all the cymbals. It's pretty brutal. Now replace. Now if I were to put the whole mix in there, snare, natural, replace, highly recommend it. Now, say you don't have snare replacement. Well, get this plugin, SSL, Solid State Logic. It's a great EQ. You get 4 bands: low, low mid, highs. You get your filter, high pass filter, low pass filter. You get your compression, your gate, your expander. You get your phase reversal, your input gain, your output gain. This is called a channel strip. It gives you everything all in one. If you want to shape your snare drum without replacement, this would be a great way to do it. And a great way to just get started with this plugin would be going up here to this load button. And you can say, load the snare drum preset. Find out what they did to make that snare drum. You say, well, what do I do for overheads? Well, click the overheads preset. What do I do for bass? We'll click the bass preset. This is going to teach you so much on different concepts of what to do. For the toms, I'm gating the toms. Let's find a good section to find an example here. Maybe here. Here would be our up tom. So I'm just zooming in on that one tom hit right there. But you're going to notice that when he's in the chorus of a song, that tom is not shining through. It's real quiet. It's because I'm using something called a gate. And I can adjust that threshold to where it opens up. That microphone will be opening up and be really sensitive, or I can make that gate to where it only opens up when he hits that tom, and it keeps cymbal bleed very low. Maybe this setting here. Now he's bashing away on those drums and it's not opening up. But as soon as he hits the tom, which would be right here, it opens up. So gates are really, really important to making your drum sound really tight. You don't have these 7 or 10 microphones on a drum kit that are constantly on. They're only on when you play what's in front of them.
That's good.
So gating your drums is super important. You can gate your snare, you can gate your toms, you can gate your kick if you want to. It just keeps everything way punchier. We always gate our toms unless they are doing like a feathering floor tom thing. Like if they're down there just like barely tickling the floor tom, then you're going to open up the gate all the way so you can catch the small things. The trigger, the threshold would not be tripped if you did not turn that gate off. Or if they're doing like a side stick on the snare or brushes on the snare, you would not want to use a gate in that situation. You'd use the natural snare, not replaced, and you turn the gate off. So we're back here constantly listening to the music. How's the song going? Is it loud and bashing and tons of cymbals? Great. Replacement and gate everything. If they're not bashing everything and they might be feathering something, turn the gates off and turn the natural snare up. That way you can hear the brushes or the side stick of whatever's happening. So you'll never set a mix and leave it. That mix is constantly evolving, constantly changing. And you as an engineer, hopefully you're musical enough to be able to forecast what's going to happen ahead of time. oh, he just said, sing it again. That means they're going to sing it again. That means I don't change anything. Or it sounds like they're going to come down to a verse, probably, because they did that last time. So I'm going to prepare for the verse by changing all my gates and all my autotune and all my delays and everything to kind of cater to what's about to happen. And you no longer reactive, but you're proactive in your mix. This is a live scenario. In a studio scenario, you can rewind all you want and automate all you want. So that's what we would do here. Overheads, I high pass filter the overheads. They would sound like this, which means there's no low end. If I didn't do that, it'd sound like this. Actually, yeah, kind of. So notice a good amount of low end with that kick, or no low end.
That's good.
Low end in, low end out. I usually pull it out. Why? So it doesn't compete with the kick drum. So here would be my two overheads together with the filter on it. And it leaves room for that kick drum to do what it's supposed to do, and that is pick up the low end. So now, after this point, it's going to go to a drum bus. I have all these drum channels here going into drum bus 1 and drum bus 2 right there. And that bus has a tape simulator on it, it has an LA3A compressor on it, and it has a hard limiter on it. What's that going to do? It's just going to glue my drums together. So if I were to solo all the drums, it'd sound like this. Here's my hard limiter. It's barely hard limiting it. It just means that those drums are never going to get above the ceiling no matter what they do. If you hard limit too much, it's going to be distorted. So you'll notice it's barely tickling that. And then the compressor would be here. This would be my drum bus compressor. This is compressing all 8 channels at the same time because it's in a bus. All 8 channels are being merged into this one compressor. So when he hits that kick, everything else is being ducked. Why do you do that? It just makes it sound glued. It makes your drum sound a little fuller, a little fatter. This is a tape simulator. It's Eddie Kramer tape. Stephen Slate also makes one that's amazing. It just makes it sound a little bit more analog. You could make it go to an extreme, and I'll show you just some different settings here that it would do. You can even delay it if you want to. It does some pretty crazy things with tape. So anyway, it's a fun plugin to create analog saturation. Now, I also running it in parallel. I have 2 drum buses. My second drum bus here, drums 2, is only the wide channel, not the center channel. So the identical stuff is going to it, but I'm processing it differently. So my second drum bus is no center channel, just width. So if I played that for you, notice it's really wide. There's no center punch. There's no kick and snare smacking right here. It's just wide cymbals because I'm using this compressor that on the lat vert setting, I'm reducing all center channel and boosting all wide channel. So this would be the center data. This would be the panned data. And so you can customize that and blend it however you like. So hit play. That was the Pultec 670. Then I hit play. The center channel would be this.
Yeah.
Really center and punchy, or I blend up some of that width. How much is too much? It's up to you. I like to have a nice amount of punch and a little bit of width for my drums. My next thing I'm going to look at is bass. Today's bass is not a good example, but we'll solo it for you. Little tape saturation, EQ, pulling some low end out, putting some mids in there, and then it's going to a LA2A compressor with a moderate amount of reduction, 3 to 5 dB, something like that, with the drums.